Actually, you know what? I never got to thank you personally for fucking up my car. Remember that little blue one?
That one you blow it up.
Nice one. Anyway, hello everybody. Thank you for coming tonight. I'm called Kalush, as he loves to call me. So, as you can see from this picture, I taught Carl everything he knows.
Do I have to use this thing? I don't have to use this thing, do I? You guys can hear me?
Yeah. Good.
Okay. So anyway, so as you guys can see from this picture, I taught Kyle everything he knows as from a very early age. You guys have heard all the good stuff from my sister, so now I'm going to give you some dirt on Kyle just a little bit. You've got to hear some shit because it's been there. Anyway, so for anybody who's ever been with Kyle in the personal sense, every time he goes Kalush, and he's just calling out my name, it's just a sign of respect. So this was the first picture that Carl took with some action over there. I'd just like to touch on a few topics with you as we go along. I always kind of felt very sorry for Marcel and Yvonne's offspring. It was quite strange, probably being half hot-blooded Latin, half German. Kind of strange. One's a bit cold, one's a bit hot, almost like being a bit of a zebra. I'm white with a few black stripes versus yes, I'm black with a few white stripes. So Carl always had this kind of thing about him. But anyway, so I left when Carl was still a young kid, and I missed out a lot of Carl's life, unfortunately. In fact, I left and I didn't get much of any of my two nephews' lives. But I always managed to keep up with him on Facebook, and it was wonderful to see that Carl was very in touch with gardening, sending me invites to go and plant gardens and save little African nations, and it's wonderful conversations we had. And Carl speaks this wonderful language called Hoog. Hello Carl, Hoog, and everything was Hoog. And so we have really wonderful. That's your aunt, by the way, wishing you happy birthday. And so anyway, so Carl, I used to love my little nephew. We saw that picture when Carl was just a baby, and Carl was really my very first son. And I got a bond with this boy, which I unfortunately have lost over the years, and I'm quite afraid of never getting back. And honestly, I hope that comes back one day. But as a kid, I used to take Kyle to the beach, and he was like a bloody bloodhound. I used to say, Kyle, that blonde, and it was amazing. He really actually, he couldn't understand me. He was about 1.5, 2 years old, just pretty tottering in diapers, and he really used to go there. And I think he's quite maintained that ability. So now he's coming of age, and actually coming of age. I remember when he was first born, he kind of looked like Quasimodo, and they had to drag him out of his mother's vagina with this thing, and he came out and he was quite lopsided. He looked like a bloody strange kid, actually. And in fact, he's 21, and they still can't get him out of his mother's vagina. Like, move out already! Anyway,
you're not getting any more drinks.
Good one.
As a good uncle, I asked him one day, so, I started talking to him, Kyle being the academically challenged one that he is. I kind of sat down with him one day and I said, so Kyle, what are you going to do one day with your life? What are you going to, what are you going to be? And he looked at me and didn't bat an eyelid, and he says, ridiculously good looking. And that's what he is. So, Kyle, never being the sharpest tool in the shed, academically speaking. Hydroponics. Fucking awesome. Hydroponics. Explained hydroponics to me in detail. And I mean, I've done a bit of science in my life, but things I've never understood actually couldn't quite exist. But hydroponics was one of those things. Sorry, Marcel. One of those things that Carl really managed to, scientifically speaking, really get to grips with. And managed to make an entire hydroponics lab and everything. Apparently, it wasn't here, but story has it. So, actually, let me tell you about Carl's personality. Carl's personality is actually very special in the fact that he can always accomplish things with the with the minimal effort actually. So one day we decided to go fishing. And of course the German said, fishing meat, not a chance. And he just didn't want to do this whole thing. So Carl and Jared and my father and I, we decided to go fishing. So here we are, we've hired this little boat and we're with the captain and we're in the middle of the ocean, and Jared in about 5 minutes is covered in shit from head to tail, smells like an absolute fisherman. And this one over here is looking at the bait and going, bait, you know. So anyway, the old captain of the boat, you know, like puts the bait on his thing, and Carl's holding his fishing rod, you know, this smells. And he's holding this fishing rod and chucks it into the sea, and then he's holding it, and as Carl does about 2 minutes later, oh no. So he goes into the cabin and he lies down and he's busy snoozing, and we're all sitting there holding our fishing rods, and you know, Carl's sleeping in the cab. Oh, he stretches out and he thought, I think I've got one. And he goes there and he takes out, and sure enough, he's got one. And this went on, and obviously, you know, he brings in his little fish, and the fisherman, the captain takes it off the hook, and he puts in another one, and Carl lofts it in there, and he goes back to sleep in the. And he did this, and the little bugger actually managed to catch more fish than all of us. Yeah. So this is Carl, always managing to do everything in Nazaré, managing to do everything. Now let me tell you a little bit about it. You know, you can see Carl full of testosterone. He's 21 years old. Almost makes me feel like a lady at the best of times at the moment. So one day we decided, and we're going to go do shark fishing. Remember that? Shark diving. So we're going to go and dive with a great white. So off Carl and I go. And Carl went through various different colors during this whole thing. Firstly, he was red with anticipation of, fuck a shark! Then he went white with fear, fuck a shark! You know, of course, Uncle Charles had to go in first, and you know, the shark, hello, nice shark, and everything. And Kyle eventually goes and does his shark, and oh, this was nothing. And you know, the whole trip, Kyle was like, oh, this is absolutely nothing. But I have a picture of Carl, absolutely green with nausea, shundering his guts out, and probably the low point of Carl's life. Don't know if any of you have ever seen him, but Carl can actually projectile vomit quite nicely then. Anyway, I'm not going to bore you anymore. Kyle, you're a wonderful kid. I love you madly. As I said to you, you're my first son, really. And you have a beautiful family, lots of wonderful friends, and you know, we wish you all the best for the rest of your future, and make it happen. Okay.
Thank you.